The specific issue that a lot of us struggle with internally, and it's more nuanced. It's actually harder to notice, actually take action on until you figure out that it's going on within yourself and how it's going on with yourself. And then you can start really working on it. And it's what is called self-abandonment. Hey, Dr. Lauren here. I'm so glad you're here today. Thanks for joining my videos. I wanted to talk about something that I often see in my clinical practice over the years, working with lesbians and queer women, and also worked on it within myself. It really can do a lot of damage to our own self-esteem and feelings of self-love and worthiness, and it can also really damage our relationships, but in a much more quiet way. And I have a video on how we can do that as well. But what self-abandonment really is, it's been taught to us, by the way, obviously as women, as queer and lesbian women in particular. We will make ourselves smaller to stay safe and feel safe and make sure that love doesn't leave us. But that feeling smaller over time really can make us feel so bad inside. So there's a lot of really good ways to change the pattern. But first of all, really, what is it? It's a pattern of overriding your own feelings and your own needs and your own truth in order to manage someone else's emotional state or to keep them from pulling away or leaving you. It might look like saying yes when you mean no, not bringing up something that's difficult, might create conflict, agreeing with something that actually you don't agree with, swallowing a hurt because you're scared of how she'll react about it. Difficult topics like money, spirituality, religion, faith, family, friendships, exes. This doesn't mean that every time we say yes, we're actually genuinely just trying to please the other person. Because of course, in healthy relationships, we do want to be there, support, say yes at times, even if we don't want to do it, or we do want to meet their needs. We do want to show up for them, obviously, even if it's not totally convenient. That's part of being in a relationship. This is more about your own internal heart that's trying to stay safe and soothe through pleasing another and abandoning yourself at the same time and giving into that fear of dealing with something that's a little hard to deal with, or you're just so used to doing it. You've been doing it for so long that it's just your default and your nervous system just does it automatically. It just overrides any of your internal signals and instincts and feelings to like take care of the situation or the person in that moment. We actually start teaching our nervous system that our internal signals aren't trustworthy. Green means blue and all of this stuff, and that these small t traumas continue to hijack your nervous system over and over again. And then the connection between you and your inner world gets weaker. We call this self-silencing. And the research is really clear that self-silencing leads to depression, anxiety, and a deep erosion in self-trust. You literally can lose that thread back to your inner self, your self-energy, your higher self. That will show up as symptoms of depression, anxiety, as we said, but also just like low-grade malaise or feeling empty or feeling like something's missing or having a hard time getting yourself out there for dating, not being really honest in your relationship. For many of us queer women, we've been doing this for decades, suppressing who we are to stay safe, only showing up in safe spaces to survive, fit in, not be labeled the other, not having to deal with what it's like to be the other or live in that feeling of unsafety of being the other. This kind of repression, it's adaptive, it's very protective, it's smart, actually, how we learn to survive, especially as children. And then we take it into adulthood and it stops really working in a lot of ways. And we do want to start, and that's what inner work is about, is how do we kind of hold on to ourselves and stay in relationship at the same time? And how do we learn what is really good for us and start to communicate with another person? This isn't right for me, but that doesn't mean I don't love you, right? Because we are attuned emotionally, biologically, and spiritually for love. We really want to keep love. And as women, we're very, very wired for love. But we also are wired to lose ourselves because we've been taught that we're not worthy, that we are second-class citizens. In our partnerships and in our friendships, in our family, in our community, learning how to not self-abandon while being in these relationships turns out to be a radical skill that is life-changing. There's a really simple exercise I want to teach you right now, and it's a very easy tool that you can use and you can start using right away. And basically, it is when it's time to make a decision, it's time for you to pause around this, ask for time, say, I'll get back to you, put your hand on your chest or your throat or your sacral and ask, is this a yes or is this a no for me? That's it. That's the whole practice. And wait to see what comes up. If it doesn't come up right away, that's also normal. This is new, but it will come if you just give it a little bit of time. In whatever situation you're in, you can explain why you're saying no if you're going to be saying no, or maybe, or I need to continue to think on it. Because pausing actually helps create an awareness, even for 2 or 3 seconds, that changes the neuronal pathways in a significant way. It gives our prefrontal cortex, the executive planner, a chance to get back online because we're not rushing in through our amygdala and our survival patterns to take care of the situation. And so the brain stops running really fast on those pre-programmed kind of wavelengths. It can pause, calm down for a moment, and that pause actually interrupts the programming. And that hand on your chest or that area of your body allows you to connect back to the intelligence of the body. And you can say, is this for me or is this to keep the peace? And it gives your inner self a chance to speak, even if it's just a whisper, or even if it's just not even words, but kind of a knowing. That is really important information. And then you can sleep on that. But then you can really come from a place of doing this, you can explain why, and you can start really having those conversations with your partner or with whoever you're working on this with. And that continues, that awareness, that zooming out and building the awareness, the pause continues to create new pathways with yourself, so that you can connect to those internalized places of shame and self-silencing, and you can give them space to move around so that you can then bring on your authentic self and what it really needs. And then you're catching that self-abandonment in the middle. Now, you may not get this right away, and it may take some time to do this, and you may do it one time and then not do it the next time. This is absolutely a process that's going to take a while, but it's worth the work because it feels so good when you start building this awareness muscle and it starts becoming a working part of who you are. Because those moments of noticing or taking notes on what you really need are moments of awakening to your inner world that is craving that relationship with you. It's always craving this relationship with us. And as children, we learn over time to abandon it, to adapt to whatever environment we're in. So know that as you're taking this new journey back to connecting to yourself, be gentle, be tender, know it's going to take time. It's not going to be overnight, but that it's going to happen. So if this video resonated with you, please like it and subscribe to my channel. I'm building it up for the first time. I'm really excited to be bringing you lots of really good material. I have lots of free resources listed down below. Some really cool ebooks I think you'll like that you can download for more, tools and things to use in your life. I really appreciate you taking the time to sit with me and listen. I know your time is valuable. And thank you so much. See you next time.